What's up, everybody? It's Mondo, aka Chunks the Mongu, and this is episode 6 of We Talking About Games. I told y'all we were gonna get back-to-back episodes. I wasn't playing. I thought I was gonna record yesterday, Sunday. Today's Monday, but I wanted to let Monday come in because there hadn't been enough going on since the last time I recorded. I was like, you know what? I feel like something's gonna pop up on Monday and give us something else to talk about, which that did happen. So cool, whatever. We're gonna get that behind us. I feel like I've talked about that so much, but the episodes are coming. Very happy to be here. Hope you're happy to be here too. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment in the bottom. Let me know what you think of the episode, how you think I can improve these episodes, so on and so forth. Join the conversation. You already know. And if you're listening on podcast services, subscribe on your podcast service and leave me a rating, a review. 5 stars only. You know, I'll take a 4 too, I guess. You know, whatever you're willing to give, except for a 2 or a 1. Don't do that. Don't do that. What am I playing right now? Start off with what I'm playing, what I'm doing. I recently finished Shogun. I don't know if I think I brought that up on the last episode. I had to bring that up again. That show is so good. Wow, man. If you have not watched Shogun, please go watch Shogun. You deserve to watch Shogun. If you don't like subtitles, you're gonna have to read subtitles. That's like part of the whole thing. But it's an experience. As somebody who watches subbed anime, it's not that big a deal to me. But it's so worth it. It's really real worth it. A lot of great actors. And they got renewed for 2 more seasons, if I'm not mistaken. Which is wondering how it's going to go because I found out that this is based on a book. And where season 1 ends is where the book ends. So kind of everything going forward is not original content. Or rather, it is original content. It's not based on the book. And I don't know how I feel about that. So, but we'll see what they do. We'll see what happens. But other than that, playing a lot of Elden Ring. Am I playing a lot of Elden Ring right now. I'm really vibing with this second playthrough. I think with my first playthrough of Elden Ring being my first like real deep dive into a Souls-like game, there's just a lot. As I can imagine, anybody who's gotten into Souls-like games knows that it can be a lot. But man, this second playthrough is so good. It's going so well, so much more fun. I guess I've become one with dying a lot. I've accepted it. It's gonna happen. But the play style and the game loop, I'm really fucking with it. And I'm liking the unique approach you have to take to every boss. It's really good. So I just beat Ranella, I think her name is, the sorcerer boss, and I'm heading towards Star Scourge Radon, I think is what his name is, who is, from what I've seen, one of the more interesting boss fights. So looking forward to that. Hopefully by the next time I get on here, I beat him and hopefully another boss. We're just trying to slowly get through it. I'm not trying to try to beat it before the DLC. I don't think that's gonna happen because I've already reached that point where I've reached like a max amount of time I can play a game in a row, and that's about 20 hours right now with Elden Ring. And I'm kind of reaching my peak, and I need to like move on to another game. But other than that, I've also been playing a lot of Call of Duty. Been playing a lot of Warzone with my boys. I don't know. It's just been good nights, good times playing with the boys. So I've just been in that. I don't even want to say a Warzone move because I don't play Warzone like that. If you know me, you know Apex is my jam. Fortnite used to be my jam, but Apex more out of like the free to play shooters. But it's just been cool playing with my friends because that's what they playing right now. And they got Gundam skins dropping today. And I'm opening up my wallet for that. Like Call of Duty has never gotten $1 out of me, other than me buying the yearly installments. But Warzone has never gotten $1 out of me. Yeah, they getting a couple dollars out of me tonight. That Warzone, those Gundam skins are bananas. Beautiful, chef's kiss, man. And so I've been playing more Yakuza Like a Dragon 2, just slowly getting through that. I feel like that's going to be a very long playthrough, so I'm just chipping away at it here and there whenever I have time and care to. Been playing a little bit of Hades 2, too. Got a few more runs in. Still have not beaten a full loop yet, but we're getting there. I can taste it, man. I can taste success. It's right there, man. And I haven't been playing this, but I think it's noteworthy that, because I said I was going to beat it, hopefully beat it before this episode, is Hellblade 2. I have just not been in the mood to play Hellblade 2. I don't think that's Hellblade 2's fault. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring. And if it's not Elden Ring, I've been playing Call of Duty with the boys, and so I'm like just in between those two titles. And nothing else has been able to really get in there other than like some Yakuza and a little Hades. That's because I feel like it's really easy to pick those up and play them on my Steam Deck. Hellblade, I want to really sit down, make sure I got my headphones on and I'm in a mood and stuff. I haven't gotten there yet, so hopefully before the next episode. Even though I think the next episode, this is a good segue into YouTube updates. The next episode will very likely be my Final Fantasy VII Rebirth review. So keep an eye out for that. If you listen to the last episode, you know I have to reshoot some content so that I can do that video. And I plan to do that between tomorrow and Thursday. So I should have that video edited and completed before what will be episode 8 goes up. And so, ironically, my episode 7 will be my Final Fantasy VII review. That's the plan. We're going to stick to plan. And if you didn't get to watch it, I streamed the PlayStation State of Play last week live on Twitch. If you don't follow me on Twitch, you should, at Chuck the Mongoose. You follow me on socials and find out when I might be live streaming something else if you want to join and partake. A couple friends in the chat. It's just always cool talking to people and reacting live and stuff. So that was cool. I guess on that note, I should be live streaming the Xbox showcase. If I'm not mistaken, that takes place on a Sunday. And if that's the case, I imagine I'm probably going to watch that first and then record that week's episode right after that. So be on the lookout for that. I've had a friend recently tell me that maybe I should record some of these episodes live or just at least give it a shot. And I feel like if we're going to stream the Xbox showcase next Sunday, it presents a pretty good opportunity to see if we can record an episode live and see how that goes. I think that'd be interesting. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for that next Sunday. Maybe a live episode right after the Xbox game showcase. If nothing else comes up, and that's seemingly like the thing I'm able to do. Now that I'm remembering, my wife told me she wants to barbecue next week. But maybe we could do that a little earlier in the day because I'm not mistaken, the Xbox showcase is sometime like the early afternoon, late afternoon. I got to check the time, but we'll see what happens. And that's all for YouTube updates. Hit that subscribe button. We got to trying to get to 100 subscribers, and I feel like that's like a good place. I'll be content with that goal. Maybe I should set a time frame and hitting that. Maybe by the end of the summer ends September 21st. At least that's the first day of fall. So September 20th. Let's see if we can get 100 subscribers by September 20th. I have some plans too for like shorts and things of that nature. See if we can boost followers. But tell your mama, tell your friends, tell your cousin, tell your auntie, your uncle, and anybody else you know who plays video games. And I guess on that note, what we're going to be talking about on today's episode, speaking of the showcase, the Xbox showcase, I do want to talk about my predictions for the Xbox showcase. Just go through what I think they're going to talk about and what some bigger announcements would be that would get me hyped. I want to talk about Hermen Hulst, PlayStation's new CEO of their gaming division, and something he said and what my thoughts on that are as a whole, and also some other news and numbers that came out of PlayStation last week. And today, which was that Monday news that I was hoping to wait for, that we maybe get something, is PSVR 2 finally has an official PC adapter come in August. But before we get into that, I feel like we could talk about PlayStation State of Play. I spoke about it on the live reaction that you can find on YouTube if you want to watch that. But I figured I might as well also talk about it on the podcast. And so if you're not privy, PlayStation had a State of Play last week. I believe that was Thursday, the 30th, where they announced some games coming up this year that we didn't already know about, and some titles coming in the future, both to PS5 and PSVR. Not too big a focus on PSVR 2, which I think is very indicative of where that platform is right now. But if I'm going to use a PlayStation blog as a reference for these titles, but just to go through the titles that were announced, they announced a new Astrobot game. That's what they ended up closing the show with. And I thought that was a really great closer because This, in my opinion, is PlayStation's Mario. You know, like this is a super high quality 3D platformer. If you have a PS5, I hope to goodness that you played that pack-in game it came with. I mean, at this point, there's so many games for the PS5, so maybe you didn't. Maybe you got your PS5, you got a game, and you didn't play the pack-in game. But man, Astrobot's Playroom is so good, just super duper high quality. And I remember, when the console launched, and everybody who got a console at launch, yeah, you were maybe playing a Miles Morales or a AC Valhalla or something like that launched alongside the console, or Demon Souls. But everybody and their mother was also playing Astrobot's Playroom, and it was so good, man. Such a high quality game, and I feel like everybody walked away from that saying, "Damn, we know Astrobot made its premiere in the first PlayStation VR, but this character deserves its own console game." And so, yeah, we got that, man. Can't believe it, and it looks beautiful. Looks super duper beautiful. We'll get into that in a little bit. But they also announced Concord, which is their 5-on-5 hero shooter, very reminiscent of Overwatch. I mean, I watched that thing, and it just looks like Overwatch to me. A blend of Overwatch and maybe a little Valorant here and there, I guess, but it's down that lane. And now God of War Ragnarok is coming to PC with new features like something that excited me is ultra wide support, uncapped frame rates. It comes with the Valhalla DLC, and yeah, just I don't know, another PlayStation 5 game coming to PC, and this is less than 2 years from the game's release. Which, if I'm not mistaken, the window is getting a little shorter. I think this is one of the faster from PS5 to PC releases that has happened in the PlayStation exclusive game lineup. Until Dawn got a remaster. It's coming to PS5 and PC. There's a PlayStation VR game called Behemoth, which looked pretty cool. I thought the mechanics of how you could cut people's limbs, slice their heads, and stuff like that was just showing a level of detail in VR games that I personally haven't seen. So I have nothing to compare it to. They announced Path of Exiles for PS5, which is coming with crossplay and cross progression support, which really excited me. So I'm saying this on my live stream of the show. I'm getting this game for PC, probably day one, because from what I'm hearing, this is what Diablo 4 should have been. And I know Diablo 4 has a new update right about now that I've been wanting to play because everybody's been saying that this is what Diablo 4 should have been at launch. We'll see. But I know I got friends who are really excited for this. I'm really excited for this. I've had some friends tell me about beta gameplay that they've been able to play, which they really enjoyed. So I'm excited about this. And I'm excited that I probably can get this on sale one day for my PS5 and be able to play this in my living room comfortably and not have to worry about cross progression, because that's huge. For games like this where loot is the goal, cross progression is a must, like an absolute must. Crossplay is cool, but cross progression is an absolute must. Monster Hunter Wilds got a gameplay trailer. It wasn't too crazy gameplay. I feel like they didn't really show us too much for how crazy combat can get in Monster Hunter. I feel like it was really light. I feel like they were just showing us a few quality of life things that are coming with this new Monster Hunter game, and it's really nice. I'm looking forward to it. That's all I gotta say. I'm looking forward to it, but they didn't show it too much. Silent Hill 2 is getting a remake, which there's a little controversy behind because it doesn't look too great. But I don't really care. I'm not playing this game. If you know me, Silent Hill, the first one, the original on PlayStation 1, is the reason I don't play horror games. That game ruined everything for me. So enjoy Silent Hill 2 if that's what you're looking forward to. Alien Rogue Incursion is another PlayStation VR game. They didn't show us anything for the game, but I don't feel like they really need to. I think it's going to be one of those experiences, like a horror experience on VR. And I think Alien is an incredible franchise to be doing that with. So that's a pretty cool release, actually. Marvel Rivals is also coming. And if you've seen anybody play the PC beta, a few people had codes. There was a lot of hoopla about people trying to get codes and wanting codes. And apparently in their like NDA to people who like not NDA, but I might be using the wrong terminology, but in their like agreement with people getting the code for this, they couldn't say anything bad about the game. They've since apparently like changed that so people can just give their honest opinions, I guess. But yeah, watching this was so weird, man. Like, I don't know, another Overwatch copy and paste, but even worse than Concord. I watched this and I was like, that's the Reaper alt. And I forget who it was that was doing it, but I was like, that's the Reaper alt. Like, what the? And I was like, yo, that's the Pharah alt. A complete copy and pastes of Overwatch. And I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I'll keep it a buck. I'm not really sure. And so it looks unique in the sense of it has like a environmental deconstruction and stuff like that. You know, buildings can crumble, walls can crumble, things of that nature. And I think that adds a unique aspect. But is it so unique that somebody who didn't really care about Overwatch is going to care about this? I can see if you're a huge Marvel head, you know, like I think the IP itself that is Marvel is going to be doing a whole lot of legwork. I mean, Marvel is going to be squatting 400 pounds when it comes to getting this game and people trying to get people to play this game. It is going to be doing a lot of that heavy lifting. I can't imagine it being an Overwatch copy paste is going to excite people. They announced a new Dynasty Warriors games, Dynasty Warriors Origins. Another franchise I've never really cared for. There's something about that hack and slash me versus 1,000 enemies thing that just doesn't do it for me. It's not doing it for me. It's very Hyrule, something of Calamity. That Nintendo game. That's another one that's sort of like this. Not interested in that at all. But this is somebody's cup of tea. So, you know, I know some people were hyped to see this. And it looks good. Looks good. For people who like that kind of game, it's good. Ballad of Antara, another one that I'm really looking forward to. I was joking around on the live stream. This is one of those main protagonists carrying around a child to safety, like the savior of this child. I don't know what it is about games like that, but they're like always pretty decent games. I think of like The Last of Us clearly is one of those games. A Plague Tale, Requiem, and the first one those are like very like I gotta save this child. It's me and the child kind of game, and heard really good things about that game. I haven't played it myself. Death Stranding is another one where you got the main protagonist and he's got the freaking baby in the incubator and stuff. So I don't know what it is, but whenever there's a protagonist carrying around a child, helping a child get from point A to point B, those games tend to be pretty good. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. I like the art style of it. It's a Souls-like, looks like a Souls-like game, and so I don't know. I'm really looking forward to that. So this was one of the games that were higher up on my list. Walking away from the show saying, okay, I'm looking forward to that. Infinity Nikki, which they're calling Infinity Nikki, is an open world dress up adventure game coming to PS5. Yeah, this looked like a gacha game to me. It looked like gacha meets Final Fantasy. And I mean gacha, I could say like Genshin Income. Look like Genshin Income. Genshin Impact. Looks like Genshin Impact meets Final Fantasy. That's kind of what this game was giving, and totally not my cup of tea. But cool. I hope somebody's looking forward to it. And last but not least, a game called Where Winds Meet, and it looks like another Souls-like samurai gameplay with Souls-like elements. I'm actually now looking at this cover that they have for the trailer. That's a baby in his hand. Another protagonist carrying around a baby. Add it to the list. This game's gonna be a banger. Protagonist carrying around baby. Instant classic. We making money. Let's take that bad boy to the bank. And so yeah, that's another one I was looking forward to. The art style looks really, really nice. I'm big into like samurai games, so Souls like samurai, I'm kind of in there. Even though I haven't played, wow, what's that really popular Souls like that is on my Steam wish list? I cannot believe that I'm forgetting the name of this. I'm on my wish list right now because I gotta get the name for this. Oh my god, where is it on my? Oh, Sekiro. I'm talking all that smack about Samurai Soulsborne games, and I haven't played Sekiro. Like, I'm a fraud, clearly. But all jokes aside, this did look like a good game. Art style looked kind of cool, but obviously, kind of need to see more because they didn't show a lot. And if I'm not mistaken, they didn't even give us a release date, and if they did, it's definitely 2025. And so, yeah. With all that said, that was pretty much the show, and I don't know. I walked away from it pretty high on the show. I think what they showed us was all pretty cool. Like a lot of relatively good games in here. There weren't a lot of like rehashings in here. Like even though we already heard about Monster Hunter Wilds, we got a new trailer for that with new imagery and stuff like that. I'm not sure if Path of Exile was already announced for console. I think we already knew console was coming, but I don't remember seeing a console trailer. So that was cool to see there. And that was my first time finding out that it was coming. Marvel Rivals, I think it wasn't announced that it was coming for consoles. So I think this was the console like announcement trailer at this state of play. So that's interesting. But when I put together like Ballad of Antara, Where Winds Me, what's another one? Path of Exiles was in there, and I'm excited about that. The God of War Ragnarok coming to PC announcement trailer. That was cool. And Astrobot, this was actually a really good state of play. You know, I know a lot of people come into these things. I don't really know. I expected the most. You know, like the expectations are set so high that, to be quite honest with you, I'm not really sure what they can announce at a state of play that would actually satisfy people. At least for what a state of play is supposed to be. Like this isn't one of their showcases. This is just a state of play. You know, maybe there were people hoping for. I saw people talk about a Spider-Man 2 DLC, which I'm not even sure. I haven't heard any rumors of them even making a DLC. So like, is that just hopes that there is a DLC in the works? You know, people were hoping for maybe a gameplay trailer of Wolverine, but I feel like Wolverine is a ways out, and it's just not time to talk about that game again. So I don't know what people come into these things. I do know. I don't know why they do that though, because I think it's pretty clear the state of play is like, you know, we're gonna show you some cool first party stuff. Nothing too groundbreaking or crazy. You might get that one big splash. Like the one big splash here was Astrobot, which we already kind of knew was down the pipeline with rumors. I don't think anybody was really expecting it to be here already, and for it to be coming out in September, which is bonkers. But I don't know. Overall, a pretty good show. I think the two things that I kind of walk away from this show thinking like, what the hell are they thinking? Me thinking, what the hell are they thinking? Is Concord. I just, you know, when you hear things like they canceled The Last of Us factions, and you know, apparently there was a rumored Spider-Man multiplayer live service game, which, for what it's worth, I know a lot of people were like really excited when that trailer leaked and stuff. But I feel like I was one of the few people who were just looking at that trailer and saying, what is there to be hype about? You know, like playing as other Spider-Men and women and Spider things. That just wasn't moving me. Because for me, it's just hard to envision what the gameplay loop for that could be that would make me want to play a Spider-Man free-to-play game, microtransaction live service game for like a 20 odd hours a week. I don't know. It just doesn't. That don't look like something I'm into. So I was very not much on that. But for you to hear that games like that got canceled, and what makes it through is a game like Concord, which doesn't look bad. You know, like I was saying when I was live streaming it, some of the mechanics look good, but with these kind of games, you can't take any of that stuff at face value. You got to play the game, see how the game flows, see how all these things work together, especially when it's real people playing. And it's not like a curated trailer where, they're purposely placing things to make certain things happen to show you what these moves are doing. Like, is someone actually going to fall for that move? And if they don't, is that move now irrelevant? You know, there's a whole lot of stuff. Again, another Overwatch copy paste. But man, what really got me about this game was I couldn't believe that they said pre-orders are opening in July. Pre-orders? You expect me or anyone to pay money for this? Nah, dog. No way. No way. This is something I would have liked to try out. I would have given it 5-ish hours, play with some friends, see how it goes, see how it flows. You can't knock something until you try it. But you want me to spend my hard-earned money on an Overwatch clone? Nah, dog. You bugging. There's just no way. They lost me with that one. They really, really lost me with that one. And for that reason, I think this game is going to flop. I cannot see enough people looking at this and saying, "Oh, I want to spend money on that." This has to be like $30 max if you're gonna get people to be like, "Yeah, nah, I'm gonna spend money on that." There's no way somebody's paying $70 for this game. There's just no way. And I think that's probably why they didn't even give us a price, because they're gonna feel it out to see what people think. And the sentiment isn't great for this game. This game's launch trailer is sitting at an 80% dislike to like ratio. 80% of the dislikes are dislikes. That's freaking crazy. Compared to Astrobot, where 99% of the votes are likes, not dislikes. So there's only 1% dislikes on Astrobot. I would like to know who those people are, because that's crazy. But yeah, people ain't vibing with this. And the fact that you said they're going to have to pay for this, man, listen, that's crazy. And another one that just had me like, what the hell is going on, is Marvel Rivals, which a lot for the same reasons. Another Overwatch clone that they just pasting Marvel's IP on top of, and apparently that's supposed to sell the game. That's supposed to get people who haven't wanted to play Overwatch to play this, or people who are into Overwatch to play this instead. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see how those games do. But I think Concord is going to be a flop. That's my personal opinion. We'll revisit it when the game launches and see what the grand sentiment is. But it doesn't look that great. And Marvel Rivals, I think people are just going to play because it's Marvel. But who knows if that game is actually going to last a long time. And I'm assuming that's a paid game too. So, again, charging for another Overwatch clone. And I say that not even just because it's a clone, but because Overwatch is free. And Overwatch is free for a reason. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, and the other thing I walked away with is PlayStation VR 2 is dead on PS5. Like, that's it. Like, there's nothing to discuss as far as PSVR 2 goes. There's no support for that thing. They showed off 2 games for PSVR 2. None of them were PlayStation first-party exclusives. And so that tells me that PlayStation is not supporting this thing. And if they're not going to support it, then I don't know. Like, who is going to support it? I guess, some people are making games for it. And, I think that kind of takes me into, like, my second story, which is PlayStation VR 2 has a PC adapter now. And for me, that kind of just goes to show how little PlayStation plans on supporting this thing. They supported the hell out of PlayStation VR 1. And there's quite a bit of first-party exclusive content and commitment, whether it's them making exclusives or having exclusive deals with publishers to bring games to it. But there's not that level of like commitment with the 2. And I feel like now that with a PC adapter coming for it, so that you can now use it with a PC, that's just more proof in the pudding that that's sort of the case, man. I'm going to read an article from Verge about it that kind of dives deep into it, titled Sony's PC. Oh my God, so many acronyms, man. Sony's PSVR 2 PC adapter launches in August. And it reads, the PlayStation VR 2's PC adapter is now official, just a few days after a certification revealed that Sony was working on the adapter, which would add PC support to the PS5 exclusive headset. The company officially unveiled the connector. It launches on August 7th and will be $60. Sony says the device will support all Steam VR games, including big-name titles like Half-Life Alyx, which is a title that a lot of people have been like asking, is this going to come to PlayStation 5, like VR? And apparently it's not. And the way you're going to be able to play that is through Steam VR with this adapter. Crazy. Again, more support that is not coming to the PlayStation VR. In addition to the new adapter, Sony says players will need a DisplayPort cable to work with Steam titles on PC, parentheses, as well as a Steam account, obviously. You can check out the minimum system requirements right here. And I guess they take you to a link where they have system requirements for it, which aren't too crazy. An NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 or later. Man, a 1650 is nothing. I'm sure a lot of people got that. So that's cool. Makes you wonder, though, why'd you need a PS5 to begin with? Anyways, whatever. In a blog post that Sony put up, Sony explains that there will be some feature differences depending on whether you're playing on PS5 or PC. This is a big one for me. PSVR 2 was designed from the ground up specifically for PS5. So you'll notice that some key features like HDR, headset feedback, eye tracking, adaptive triggers, and haptic feedback are not available when playing on PC. However, the high fidelity and sensory immersion features of PSVR 2 are supported, including 4K visuals, 110-degree field of view, finger touch detection, and see-through view, as well as foveated rendering, even though that's going to be without eye tracking. And I saw some people commenting online that that's kind of a big deal because the reason it is the way it is because of eye tracking that you're not going to be able to use on PC, and 3D audio in supported games. And so man, this is kind of embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. That it's kind of like, hey, so we made this headset that costs $550 that you need a $500 console for, and now you're not gonna need the $500 console because you're gonna be able to play it on PC. But some of the things that make this headset really, really great, like eye tracking and adaptive triggers, are not going to be there on PC. But you're going to have some of this other stuff that you can kind of get with other headsets. But the stuff that's like really unique to this headset, which would be a reason to get this headset to play on PC, yeah, you're not going to be able to do those things. And that to me is bananas, man. I don't really got too much to say about this because I've never owned a VR headset. And I'm not really on the market for one. My nephew really wants me to get a Quest so that I can play with him and stuff. I just don't have $500 lying around to buy a VR headset I'm going to play every now and again. But this just all feels bad, man. And again, I think it just shows the lack of commitment PlayStation has for the headset in the long term. And for me, on PS5, you own a PS5 and you don't have a PC and you have a PSVR 2, box that thing up and forget you even had it, or sell it, get rid of that thing. Like it's just no reason for it. I don't understand why anybody would get this, especially when the Meta Quest 3 is out, has a plethora of incredible features, is wireless, works with PC, is wireless. Did I say that? Did I mention that it's wireless? I don't understand. Blows my mind, the decision making for this device. And I feel like for what it's worth, however many people bought this, PlayStation is looking at that and basically saying, yeah, not enough people bought this. And yeah, I don't know. I think this is going into the PlayStation graveyard, if you ask me. So yeah, not very impressed with the PlayStation VR 2. I'm interested to see what's going to crop up as far as reviews and commentary and things of that nature when the PC adapter comes and people start using it with PC and compare it to the experience of other headsets. Like, where is this going to stack up as far as that experience goes? Because if it's good and it's comparable and it's in a way can compete with a Meta with the other headsets that are on the market, then cool. Like, maybe this does have a space in that PC world and making the adapter was worth it. But if they don't, and the PC adapter is very much a half-assed effort in giving this device you charge people $500+ for a few more legs of life, a few more years of life, that's just whack. That's super duper whack to me. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. PSVR 2, dead on arrival, bro. Dead on Arrival. Didn't this thing come out earlier this year? I forget when this thing even came out. Let me see. PSVR 2. I think it came out last year. It definitely came out last year. I'm talking shit. Yeah, February 22nd, 2023. At a retail price of $549. They were smoking, bro. Smoking. I want some of what they smoking because they out of their minds. A little bit else of what I want from what PlayStation is smoking is Hermen Hulst addresses PlayStation games on PC. And so this is a story that also surfaced last week. PlayStation is going with a co-CEO approach for the PlayStation division, where they have Hermen Hulst as co-CEO of the gaming division, and then they have I think it's Hideki Nishino as their CEO of hardware and platforms. Platforms specifically, not hardware, just CEO of platforms. And I guess they were doing a business talk. I don't know exactly where this surfaced. Maybe it says it on the tweet. I'm gonna read and play a video from a tweet from Tom Warren from The Verge. And his tweet reads: Hermen Hulst, soon to be co-CEO of Sony's PlayStation business, addresses day one PC releases. Oh, sorry, day one PC releases. That was a period. Live service games will come day and date on PS5 and PC, but single-player narrative games on PC are designed to then entice PC owners to play sequels on a PlayStation console. And I'm going to play his audio because I don't want to butcher anything he says. I kind of want him to just get through the point, and then I don't know. I just want to give my comments and thoughts on what he said because I'll be quite frank. I think it's a little bit ridiculous.
Indeed, we are bringing our titles to the PC platform, and we have a dual approach here. On the live service side, we are releasing our titles simultaneously, so day and date on PlayStation 5 and PC. But with our tentpole titles, our single-player or narrative-driven titles that are, as you saw in the presentation, the backbone of what PlayStation Studios has delivered in recent years and in our history, we take a more strategic approach, and we introduce our great franchises to new audiences, and we're finding new audiences that are potentially going to be very interested in playing, for example, sequels on the PlayStation platform. We have high hopes that we're actually able to bring new players into PlayStation at large, but into PlayStation platforms specifically. Actually, the same goes for the work that we do with extending our great properties onto other media, such as television series and film, for example, as you have seen with The Last of Us on HBO or Gran Turismo, the film, that brings in new players into our franchises as well.
All right, cool. So that was a quote. Now that's what he said. Now, I do think there's some really good things to pull from this. Live service games being day and date, and I think they confirmed this the last time you spoke on this, that was going to happen, and that's why we ended up getting a Helldivers day and date on PC, which was a massive success. Sold more copies on PC than it did on PS5. Like that's the science right there, right? Day and date. I also think he makes a really good point about how they're putting their franchises in other mediums, like HBO's The Last of Us. That surged Last of Us sales. Like, the numbers are there to prove it. There's a whole bunch of people who never played that game before, saw the show, and said, oh, this is based on a video game? Let me go play that. And I can imagine the same for Gran Turismo. I didn't see the movie, but I heard it was better than people were expecting it to be. And I imagine if you're into cars and you weren't playing Gran Turismo, you probably went out and bought Gran Turismo. How much of that was you went out and bought a console? Like an entire console to play Gran Turismo? I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a few people who did that. I'm sure sales boosted from the movie, as that's happened with damn near every franchise that has now made like a good video game adaptation in film or television. Like Fallout. the rush of people who went to go play Fallout after Fallout, the TV show released. And so the one thing I guess I want to pick apart is a lot of what people are talking about, which is they're taking a quote-unquote strategic approach to how they're handling single-player games on PC. And basically, he's basically saying single-player games ain't coming day and date to PC. And they're going to be strategic about how they move those over to PC. You know, we just got Ghost of Tsushima on PC, which that's nearly 4 years removed from that game's launch, because it came out summer of 2020. We just got an announcement that God of War Ragnarok is coming to PC just under 2 years from its release on PS5. And I think that the window's getting smaller and smaller, especially when it comes to these newer games. I'm very interested to see when Spider-Man 2 is coming to PC, since we already have Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2018 on PC. 2 has to be somewhere down the pipeline. But it was I can understand the, hey, we're gonna be more strategic about it. We're still not gonna do that yet. I personally think it's a bad idea, because I don't think it's a bad idea, because I understand that you have to slow your roll. You got to get there slowly. You can't just pull the trigger and just do it. You know, you have a large back catalog of first-party games that are yet to release on PC. So the idea that you're going to start putting new games day and date on PC already seems a little far-fetched. So I can get that. What I don't understand is the reasoning he gives for it. That you're releasing games on PC and not releasing them day and date on PC going forward, as far as sequels go, because you're hoping that PC gamers want to play those sequels on a PlayStation platform, i.e. PlayStation 5, because that's the only platform right now. You know, unless you have plans for other renditions of a platform, whether that's mobile, whether that's cloud, or something of that nature. But right now, it's just PS5. I personally think that the idea that someone who has a moderate to high-end PC rig just played Horizon, God of War 2018, Spider-Man 2018, or Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, played those games and said to themselves, yo, this game was so good that I'm going to go out and buy a PlayStation so that I can play the sequel when it comes out, because I'm going to have to wait 2 years to play it if I'm going to play it on PC. That sounds like such a ridiculous idea. And I think, yes, there will always be some people who do that. I'm somebody who has a PC and has a PS5. And I think when I got my PS5, they were already releasing some PS5 games on some PlayStation games on PC. So I already knew that was happening, right? Like we already had a Final Fantasy VII remake coming down the pipeline. We already had a Horizon not Forbidden West, a Horizon Zero Dawn coming down the pipeline. We had a God of War 2018 coming down the pipeline. We knew those things were happening already. But I still went out and bought a PS5 because I want to play those games when they come out. So you 100% have people like me. But I think that for that to be a strategy, for that to be like an idea you have, that a large group of people are going to go out and do that, are going to go out and buy a console that they already didn't feel like they needed, and that your game is so goddamn good that they are, instead of spending $500, say, upgrading their PC with a new graphics card, a new CPU, a new motherboard, anything that can improve their gaming experience on the platform that they prefer, which is PC, that instead they're going to go out and spend that money on a console that will objectively give them a lesser gaming experience. That sounds so ridiculous to me. It really, really does. For that to be a strategy, as like, yeah, now we're doing this because, we're trying to move PC gamers over to console. You're bugging. These people are PC gamers for a reason. They are not console gamers for a reason. And they've already waited for your games. And they know, this window is getting smaller. This window's getting smaller. I'm noticing it's getting smaller. the newer the game, the faster that's coming down the pipeline, it seems like. Ghost of Tsushima took 4 years, but God of War Ragnarok took less than 2. And not only are they getting the game in, a smaller window of like wait time, they're getting with uncapped frame rates, like I mentioned with God of War Ragnarok, ultra wide support. They're getting it with all the bugs fixed. They're getting it with all the DLC that was released from the time that game launched. They are objectively getting a better game for the same price or less. And all they have to do is just wait a little while. Man, let me tell you, bad strategy. I don't know who's in that room said, yeah, this is the play right here. We're going to get them PC gamers to go buy PlayStations. What? Yo, that just don't make no sense to me, man. And like, I thought it was interesting that was the perspective of like, hey, we're sort of like, in a way, grooming PC gamers to be PlayStation gamers. When I feel like they've already started doing things to start transitioning PlayStation console gamers into a PC world, where now Ghost of Tsushima gets launched with a PC launcher, like so you can track your trophies, so you can see your friends list, so you can be in that PlayStation ecosystem while you're playing on PC. As far as I'm concerned, from having my ear to the ground the way I do, that was a big concern for a lot of PlayStation gamers. Like, yo, hold on, I don't got my trophies on PC. So you telling me if I play that game on PC, I don't get my trophies carried over? When I play it, I'm getting Steam achievements, which for them don't have the same kind of value. Like, part of the reason PlayStation has the audience locked in the way they do is because, one, it's the digital era. People have invested heavily in their ecosystem, so they're going to stay there. That's where a lot of their games are, right? But also, there's a lot of people out there that immensely value their trophies. And that trophy score, that trophy level, shows how much of a gamer they are. People value that. People care about that. It's a status item for some people. And for someone to say, yeah, I'm going to jump platforms, jump ecosystems, jump to another place to play my games, i.e. PC, and not take that along with me, that's a no-go, right? Like, that's a no-go. Even for like somebody like myself who would have been cool with double dipping, I like trophies. Like, I'm not a trophy collector, or I don't shoot for platinums or anything like that all the time. But I like the system. It is a nice system. It is a great system of achievements. As part of what that exists for. And for me, bringing trophy support to PC, that's not for the PC gamers. They don't care about that. They've had Steam achievements, and if anything, that is what they value, because that is the system that they have lived in for a decade plus, and so on and so forth. They're looking at PlayStation trophies like, I mean, this is cool. Hopefully my Steam achievement still pops, right? They don't care about trophy support. Trophy support is for the PlayStation fan who cares about trophy support, who cares about their trophy status, who cares to see that progress continue alongside their playthrough. They want to see that trophy pop. That's not for the PC gamer. That's for the PlayStation gamer. And so if that is coming to PC, what does that tell you? Why are they bringing that to PC? If that's something that console gamers value, why are they bringing it to PC? If it isn't to get PlayStation gamers more comfortable with that PC ecosystem. And maybe it doesn't transition everybody, because everybody, it keeps talking about how day and date is going to devalue the console, when in reality, PC gaming is not for everybody. Like, I'm sitting in front of my PC right now recording this episode, and I love playing PC games, but don't get me wrong. I don't always want to sit in this chair and play video games. I have a PlayStation, one, because I like PlayStation games, so cool, I got it from first party, but I like playing games in my living room. I got a nice OLED 65-inch television. I bought that for a reason, because I want to play my video games on that. I want to watch nice movies on that. I got a surround sound so I can play my video games on that. I have an Xbox Series X, which I've faithfully always said I don't need an Xbox because I play their games on PC. But you know why I felt like I needed an Xbox eventually? Because I want to play games in my living room. I like playing video games in the comfort of my living room. I don't want to always sit in this chair locked down by my keyboard and mouse. That's cool for shooters, which is what I prefer playing on PC. But if I got my controller in my hand and it's not a high octane first person shooter type game where maybe being closer to a monitor and things of that nature, high refresh rate is nice. Well, my TV's high refresh rate anyways, but if it's more for like the looks, like a Hellblade 2, I want to play that on my TV. A Starfield, I want to play that on my TV. I ended up getting the Series X because I want a console in my living room. And so there's always going to be an audience that wants a console. That is never going to change. Like there will always be people who want to game in a more casual manner. And sitting at a desk like this, playing video games on keyboard and mouse, or even with a controller, this is pretty damn hardcore. And this is not for a lot of people. It's just not. It's not at all. And so there will always be a market for consoles. Will that market probably shrink as more hardcore gamers on the console side end up finding themselves in the PC realm? Yeah, probably. But there will always be a value on the console end, even for people who do make that transition, because there'll probably be people like me who, yeah, I got my game on, I game on console, I game on PC for the majority of the time. I think my Steam Deck has really helped in that transition and making me like, you know, I've always, if you look at my games in the back, I got a lot of PlayStation games. Not a lot, but in my opinion, it's quite a bit, especially when it comes to PS5 games. I got like 15 PS5 games. That's a lot for me in the last 4 years for just one console. Of course, there's gonna be people like me, but I feel like I game exclusively on PC now, like most of the time. If I had to split, it's like 75% PC, 25% console across PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Unless like an exclusive's coming out and I'm playing that exclusive. But there's always gonna be people who want a console. Even if they are predominantly PC gamers. So I just don't buy that. I'm really, really curious because I think it's going to happen eventually. It might not happen today, tomorrow, a month from now, a year from now. But the money is there. If you look at Helldivers, the money is there. And so I'm wondering what will be that title that they bring over to PC on a day and date single player day and date game on PC that is there testing the waters. Because there's been a lot of talk about PlayStation games on Steam aren't selling well. And all I have to say to that is, yeah, they are 2, 3, 4-year-old games. Nobody is in a rush to go play a multi-year-old game, especially at full price. We'll wait on a sale for that. Like, nobody's buying God of War Ragnarok day one. Yeah, you're going to have some people who do it 100%. A lot of people are going to buy it day one. But a lot of people are also going to look at that and be like, that game came out 2 years ago. It's going to go on sale in a few months. I'll buy it then. And that is different for a game that's coming day and date. People are like, wait, this game is new. Everybody's going to be playing it. It's the zeitgeist of the moment. It's the FOMO that people feel around a new game launch that says, oh, my friends are playing that. I need that. There was a lot of that in Helldivers 2. Oh, my friends are talking about it. Yo, my friends are playing that. My friends are talking about this. Everybody's talking about this. You get this overwhelming feeling of, I need to try this. And if, say, Helldivers 2 came out this month, it wouldn't have that. It would have a lot of people saying, oh, yo, yeah, this game came out in February. It's really good. Y'all need to try it out. Yeah, I'll try it out when I try it out. I'm playing other stuff. There's other new stuff that everyone's talking about, that everyone's playing, so on and so forth. The Elden Ring DLC is what comes to mind immediately for this month. That's what's on people's minds, not a launch of a multi-year-old game. And so they need to launch a game day and date to see what that looks like. In my opinion, they already did in Helldivers 2, and it sold more copies on PC than it did on PS5. And for me, that's all the proof you need. And that wasn't even a tentpole title. That was Helldivers 2, a very nominal franchise that released a pretty good cult classic type of first game. and that game sold 12 million units, the 7th highest selling PlayStation game of all time. A franchise that a lot of people were looking at the trailers and saying, this might be a flop. This might be a flop, turned into 12 million copies sold, largely because of the zeitgeist that came out of Steam and PC players playing that game. Man, listen, PlayStation better stop playing games. What are y'all doing, bro? And I ain't mad. I got a PS5, so I'm gonna play whatever game I want to day one. But come on, I'm just tired of just waiting, bro. Release them things, man. I'd love to play all my PlayStation games on PC. But I will say, are you going to do it like Xbox, where I get dual entitlements? Where if I bought the game on Xbox, I also own it on PC? Yeah, we'll see about that. I might be asking for too much for that, from Sony especially. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the Hermen Hulst thing. There's also some stuff about like, they recently announced that like the PS5 is the most profitable console they've ever released. And just pulling a quote from gamesindustry.biz, PlayStation 5 now represents 50% of Sony's active game console base, which is great, showing that some people are letting go of that PS4. But one thing that stuck out for me is the firm revealed revenue per console is $731 for PS5 versus $580 for PS4. Which is partially due to price rises, quote unquote, higher tiers on games, accessories, and services generation. And so there's a lot made about how this console is making more money than the PS4, and that's good. But on another end, it's like, it's also expected in a way. Like this person said, games are more expensive this generation, up $10 per, right? And that adds up. Accessories are more expensive, where you have a PlayStation Portal, which is awesome, right? I'm not a fan. Not that I'm not a fan. I held it. I got a friend who lives upstairs. I held his, and I'm like, damn, this thing really does feel nice. And so I think if I didn't have a Steam Deck, I still wouldn't buy it, because I think for what it costs and what a Steam Deck gives you, I would just go buy a Steam Deck, because my Steam Deck does exactly what that Portal does. It's just not first party. It's not like, it doesn't pair. It pairs perfectly. I would say that, but obviously, there's something about having products that live in the same ecosystem. So it's good from that sense. But you have a PlayStation Portal. The PlayStation DualSense is a more expensive controller. You have the PlayStation Edge, which is a professional style controller, which costs like $200. The services in general all saw like a 30% increase. You added Extra and Premiere, which are in general higher than PlayStation Plus was, but you also increased the price of PlayStation Plus. So like, there's like a few angles that I'm kind of looking at the number and I'm just like, all right, cool. That's like a $150 increase from console to console. And mind you, also what's not mentioned here is we also live in a generation of gaming where if you went on PlayStation's most recently most played games, Xbox's most played games, they're free to play games. It's Fortnite, Warzone, Apex, Overwatch. Those games are taking up a large not even Overwatch, sorry. That game's not that high up there anymore. Grand Theft Auto, those games are at the top of the lists. And you know how they make their money? Microtransactions. And if you look at the prevalence of free-to-play, microtransaction-driven games throughout the PS4 lifecycle, which don't get me wrong, we had the real bad stint with microtransactions of just their inception and how terrible it was in the early days, especially with like EA, for example. I don't think they were making as much money then as they are now, though. Like these games are making money. There's a reason why PlayStation said, yo, we're going to go make 10 live service games. Because I imagine on the back end, when they're looking at that 731 versus that 580, how much of that was an increase on spending of first-party franchises? How much of that was an increase of accessories? I imagine some of it is. And services, I imagine a lot of it is. Because of that addition of Extra and Premium now and the increase of prices just across the board. But also how much of that is like microtransaction spending happening on a Call of Duty, on a Fortnite, on an Apex, on a Grand Theft Auto, and things of that nature, where those are bringing in big money. The player bases for those games are mostly on PlayStation, especially for Call of Duty. I don't know. I look at that and I'm just like, how much of that 731 is PlayStation first party doing significantly better? And I wish I knew that number. But I feel like my gut is telling me it's not much of it, if at all, any of the increase. Yeah, that's just how I feel about that. So it's interesting. Just kind of interested seeing where PlayStation currently is, where they see themselves as a sort of a stakeholder in console gaming, in gaming. I still think that they're number one. Well, damn, that's so hard to say with Nintendo, man. Those dudes are making money over there. But clearly they're ahead of Xbox, and that's who they're in competition with. Nintendo's not in competition with anybody. And so PlayStation is in a great position. These numbers are awesome. Obviously, they're making more money, period, across the board. And that's a good thing, right? So, and that's revenue per console. That's not like just general money per console and we're getting. Nah, that's $150 more they are making, period, per console. And that's good. That's really, really good. I also would like to know, what was the cutoff for these numbers? Like, was it the day before they put these numbers out? Because what if I bought a PS5 and only bought one game for it because it was the day before? So I imagine maybe there's also like a cutoff of like at least 6 months ago so that you get a good snapshot of people who have had the console for a while and what they've been spending. So yeah. So anyways, PlayStation in a good position. I just don't feel like their arguments for not putting games on PC are all that good anymore. And I feel like they're just making poor excuses for it. And I'm not sure what the poor excuses are for. Are you lying to PC gamers or are you lying to console gamers? Because in my opinion, you got to be lying to somebody. You got to be like mildly lying and making PC gamers think that these games could be coming one day to PC in a tighter window that is closer to day and date. Or you're lying to console gamers because you can't yet tell them the sting of, hey, your games are going to come day and date on another platform, and that's okay. Are you building up to that? Like, what are you doing? And like, as somebody who works in communications, I'm just confused because they aren't really communicating anything, in my opinion. So, anyways, that's that on PlayStation. I feel like this was the PlayStation episode of We Talk About Games. But they had a lot happening last week, so it's only fair. And just to close things out, we'll move away from PlayStation. I just want to give my predictions for the Xbox Showcase. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's just predictions. Who knows what's going to happen? But Xbox is having their showcase on June 9th. Let me make sure I'm correct about that. Yeah. So the Xbox Game Showcase will take place on Sunday, June 9th, beginning at 1 p.m. You know what? We're going to be streaming this. Yeah, no, we definitely streaming this. Barbecue is going to happen later, so we Gucci on that. I could probably definitely record an episode right after that too, depending on how long this show is. Hopefully it's an hour. They usually do an hour, which is always cool. There's also the Black Ops 6 Direct right after too. Oh boy. All right. It's going to be a lot of gaming next Sunday. That's cool. Anyways, showcase is taking place on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And I'm really looking forward to it. You know, with all the sort of, I don't even know what to say, like uncertainty around Xbox and what their strategy is going forward and what we can expect from first party, what we can expect from Game Pass, what can we expect for their commitment for hardware in the future. There's a lot of questions surrounding Xbox, and I'm wondering how much of that is going to get answered in this showcase. So, I don't know. I have a few predictions as far as games and quote-unquote strategies that might help Xbox as far as brand trust, what it looks like for games moving forward. You know, their multi-platform approach to Game Pass and Xbox as an ecosystem. Like, Xbox is no longer just a console. It is an ecosystem. It is a platform in the sense of it is a place to play games. Where you access that place is different depending on who you are. You can access that platform from a phone, from a TV, from a console, from a PC. That's why I think it's interesting that PlayStation keeps using the word platform, because I feel like for me, if your commitment is exclusively the console, you would just say console. But it's kind of like I would have been telling people for a while, like eventually these consoles won't be consoles anymore. They'll be platforms. They will be ecosystems. They will be apps. Like this, it will be a place that you can access from multiple devices. Especially with like rumors of like the PlayStation Portal, hopefully one of these days getting cloud support and being able to function on its own without being just being a glorified remote play device. Another problem I have with it. No, it just doesn't stand alone. And for that reason, like $200 for that, like if you got it, you got it. You know what I mean? Like go buy it. It's a really nice device. But if you don't got it like that and you have to weigh your options or where you're spending your money, I just wouldn't buy that. So anyways, Xbox is a platform now. And so wondering just where all that goes and what that looks like in the next year or two, And so we could get our first real look at that now, following the Activision acquisition and Xbox being in a closer place to where they envisioned themselves several years ago, right? So anyways, just reading them off the top of my list, I wrote a bunch down. In no particular order of like importance or anything. This is kind of just how they were hitting my mind. I got a Gear 6 trailer because there's just been so many rumors about this game finally being announced this summer. Us getting a teaser, CGI trailer. This game is made in Unreal Engine 5, and so there's a lot of expectations of just how beautiful this game could look, especially with considering like how good Gears 5 looked on UE4 and stuff. So, and they're like the masters of Unreal Engine over there. Studio is escaping me right now. No, this is not the studio that makes it. The Coalition. Oh my goodness, yes, the Coalition. They're masters of Unreal Engine over there. And so, even though I expect a CGI trailer, not a gameplay trailer, I imagine still that trailer is going to look quite amazing. So, I expect a Gears 6 trailer alongside probably Gears Remastered across console and PC. Potentially even PlayStation. Even though I feel like I'm a little iffy about saying anything about PlayStation in your showcase. Like I feel like even if that game is coming to PlayStation, you put that in a blog post. You put that in a tweet. You let PlayStation tweet that out. You let the Coalition tweet it out after the show. You do something like that. But you don't say it in your show. So, but I do expect, like, if you do put that out, you put that on PlayStation. Because same way like PlayStation has been saying, hey, like we're putting these games on PC so that people can come buy a PlayStation and play these games over here. That's what Xbox said earlier this year about their strategy of, moving those 4 games over to other platforms and hopefully getting some attention around their studios for that, and maybe having some people going out and buying an Xbox for a game that they're anticipating and saying, man, this Xbox game was really good. Maybe I should get an Xbox so I can play that other game. And when your entry point is your phone or a TV or Xbox Series S, not even an X, that barrier of entry is really low for people. And so I can see that strategy working a little bit better than what PlayStation's trying to do, like PC gamers to $500 console versus an already console gamer and a PlayStation gamer going to either try games out on the cloud for $15 a month, to playing it on the TV if they have the app on their TV, or even buying a $200 Series S. That bar of entry is much lower. And so it's an interesting strategy. And I feel like if you're going to make a Gears Remastered, you should release that on PlayStation. Sounds crazy, but just the truth. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't include 5 in that. Like you do 1 through 4 and you leave 5 out of it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I also think we're going to see a small rollout of legacy Activision games. I think Call of Duty is that's easy. That's easy pickings right there. Just put all the Call of Duty games on Game Pass. Not a few of them. I'm hearing people, slow drip it. Nope, don't slow drip it, because there's no one Call of Duty that's more important than the other. Or you could say there maybe are, but the reality is, drop them things. drop them all. And maybe it's hard to give online support to all of them. I think they still have online support for them. They like reactivated the server sometime last year. That's why people were playing those old games. Put all them things on Game Pass, man. Because outside of just the multiplayer and maintaining those servers, let people go back and play those really good Call of Duty campaigns. Like the Call of Duty campaigns are great. You know, like the multiplayer is cool. I know that that's what most of everybody gets the game for. The campaigns are nothing to scoff at. I know people said that like Modern Warfare 3 was a drop in the bucket. It just sucked as far as a main story went. That was also because of how good some of the other stories were in the past and how it was just sort of a rehashing of that. Gotta bring the Call of Duty games to Game Pass, in my opinion. Bring Spyro to Game Pass. You know, it's just a no-brainer for me. You know what I mean? Like, bring a good platform to the console and put that on Game Pass. Put a great all-time platformer on Game Pass. The Tomb Raider games. Bring those over, baby. Bring those over. Put those on there permanently. Drop them in there. Announce it and be done with it. And I just think none else really came to mind off the bat, but I just think other Activision cult classic kind of games, like maybe it was a one-off game here, a one-off game there, but had a dedicated audience, something that's going to strike the attention of a certain kind of gamer and make them say, oh man, maybe I should get Game Pass. Like that's that game I grew up playing, so on and so forth. I think you got to bring some games like that from Activision's vault onto Game Pass. Man, I'm a little thirsty this episode. Damn. I'm talking a lot though. Damn, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. How the hell? Anyways, I kind of want to see gameplay of Fable. You announced that game. I think we're going on 3 years now, if I'm not mistaken. At least 2, but if I'm not mistaken, it's been 3. But it's been a while since you talked about Fable. I think you got to show us something. Or else it's kind of like, where are we with that game? What status is that game in? You're going to start getting a lot of bad questions around it. I'm not sure if it's time to show us anything for Perfect Dark. But that's another game where I feel like there's been a lot of bad talk around what's happening at the studio, things of that nature, that you got to show us something. I'm not sure that it's like pure gameplay. Like I said, like Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter, what is it called? Monster Hunter Wilds didn't show us like straight up gameplay where like, oh, we saw the UI and we saw it, I think, from like mostly the perspective we'll be playing in and things of that nature. But they showed us gameplay stuff. You could see that was gameplay. I think you kind of got to show us a trailer like that with Perfect Dark, where it's not like us walking through a mission or something like that, but show us some of the things you're trying to create in this new world that you're recreating in this franchise. I didn't play Perfect Dark growing up. I know that a lot of people love this game. I feel like I can't go back and play it because it's on a console. I think it's on the N64, and I can feel the jank from here. I want to know. I'm waiting for the remake. I'm waiting for this remake. Send that remake. So I think you guys show a little bit something like that with Perfect Dark. I think we're definitely going to see more trailers for upcoming Xbox games for this year. So that means like Indiana Jones, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Avowed, Aura History Untold, which is that real-time strategy game they showed. And I think it wasn't the developer direct. They did something not long after the developer direct, if I'm not mistaken, where they showed us a lot of games that were coming to Game Pass. It was like I forget what it was exactly, man. It wasn't a direct, but they showed us a lot of trailers. There was like this game that takes place on Mars that I'm thinking about. The name is escaping me. I tried searching it before coming on here, but I couldn't find it. I didn't really try too much, but I'm expecting that we're going to see a few trailers like that of games we've already heard about that we're getting a little closer to their launch. Maybe some of them have dates now. Maybe some of them have tighter windows that they want to talk about. A new updated trailer, things of that nature. I'm expecting we see a few games like that. I'm sure there's going to be some partnered games too, outside of Activision. Like, I'm expecting a Ubisoft game here, probably Star Wars Outlaws, to be honest. Things like that. We'll get like 2-3 of those scattered throughout the show. I think we definitely get something on the Starfield Shattered Space DLC. a trailer, additional info, maybe a launch date for when it's coming. Supposedly it's coming this fall, around September-ish. And I feel like being 3 months out from that, we should have a launch date for it. Is that where vehicles are going to come in? What does that DLC hold? I've been dying for a reason to get back on Starfield, man. They updated it last month, and I've been wanting to play since, but I'm playing a lot of Elden Ring, playing a lot of other stuff. But really, really, an announcement of DLC coming will thrust me into that world again. It really will. And then it'll thrust me back there again when the DLC drops. I massively enjoyed my time with Starfield. I'm also wondering, I'm assuming that DLC is going to be in Game Pass. I'm wondering how much is going to be on Steam, because I also own Starfield on Steam. Not like it matters because I have a Game Pass sub, but still, I still want to know. I can play it on my Steam Deck, maybe. I expect, now this one's interesting. I expect some mobile division information. I don't think they're going to get into like talking about Candy Crush updates and things of that nature. But I think, with laws changing around storefronts on mobile, Apple not necessarily having the foothold that they used to around that stuff, that Microsoft store is coming. Is it closer than we think? Is this a place to talk about that? What that's going to look like? What kind of games can we expect there? What kind of interaction are we going to have with our library on there as far as like games purchased on Xbox and Game Pass? Now, I feel like Game Pass is a no-brainer, right? Like, that we can already access via the cloud on our phones. But, like, how much deeper is that integration going to be with a Microsoft store front on mobile? Does that bring more console-like games to phone in a native way where, like, it's downloaded, you don't need internet, things of that nature? So that's like a light expected. That would make the show pretty cool. I'd be like, oh, damn, that's awesome. Because I'm big on mobile gaming. Maybe not mobile games themselves like Candy Crushes of the world and things of that nature, but I'm big on mobile gaming as in like portable gaming, as in like my phone being something I can play video games on. That is enticing to me. That sounds amazing to me. So looking forward to seeing what that brings. And then last but not least, I expect something Fallout related. I'm not sure if it's going to be a remaster of 3 or New Vegas or both, or if it's going to be a completely new announcement of like Fallout 5 coming, which sounds unbelievable because they're in the middle of developing Elder Scrolls 6. Wow. Elder Scrolls 6, that's in development. And so how do they go and also develop Fallout 5 unless you give that to another studio to make? And just not sure if Bethesda's willing to do that. I think they should, man. Like this, I'm not even a big Fallout fan, but this whole like, we're working on a game for 6 years, and then we're gonna work on the next game for 6 years, and then the next game for 6 years seems so unsustainable, man. And I feel like somewhere in there, you gotta delegate, man. You know what I mean? Like, I've always, as like I've grown in like my professional, like professionally as I've grown. Something you hear a lot, man, is like, you gotta learn to delegate. You can't do everything yourself. You gotta learn when you can pass something off to someone else to do for you. And I don't know, I feel like Fallout is in that realm right now with the show releasing and doing as well as it has. What are you doing sitting on your hands, man? And like not doing anything with that franchise? It makes no sense to me. So expecting something Fallout related to piggyback off the success of the show. There's been rumors of a Fallout 3 remaster, so I'm highly expecting that. But what are the chances we get a Fallout 5 teaser announcement that like, hey, this is in development now. This is happening. That'd be cool. And then Shine the Dark, Hopes and Dreams, like this would make the showcase damn near 10 out of 10. Banjo-Kazooie remake, send that. Nintendo has Mario. PlayStation now has Astrobot. As far as premium platformers go, what does Xbox have? I said earlier, you got to bring those Spyro games over. Are you making a new Spyro game? Probably not. Not right now, at least. And people have been, people have been yearning for a Banjo-Kazooie remake. What are you doing? What are you doing, Xbox? It's right there, man. It's right there. Man. So that would be awesome. A tease of hardware and like what we can expect from an experience of new Xbox hardware. And I don't mean another rendition of a Series console, whether that's a smaller Series S or something with the Series X, like a discless Series X or something like that, like we saw leaks of back when the court proceedings were happening. But like new hardware, this mobile console hybrid similar to like a Nintendo Switch. They talk about something like that, man, listen, that'd be fire. That'd be cool. Not expecting it. That's a shot in the dark, but that'd be cool. And then this wouldn't necessarily make it a 10 out of 10 for me, but I think it would show the strength of them having acquired Activision and how gamers are going to benefit from that in the long haul. And that is World of Warcraft and or StarCraft coming to Xbox consoles and or Game Pass. If you can get World of Warcraft on console, woo! Talk about being able to sell Xboxes. Like I said earlier, I love sitting at my desk, but it is a pain sitting at this desk playing video games all day. It really, really is. Can't wait to get a beanbag. I can't wait to get a beanbag. You have no idea. Play games on my TV right here above me in the studio. That'd be nice. But like I said, I have a console in my living room because I like playing games in my living room. It's a different level of comfort out there. I don't have to be away from my wife when I'm out there, so to speak, you know? It's nice being in here, you know, when she has company and stuff like that. But like, if you tell me that World of Warcraft is coming to console, I can only imagine how giddy a portion of that fan base is going to be when they realize, wait, hold up. I'm going to be able to play World of Warcraft from the comfort of my living room, from the comfort of my bedroom, just accessing it from a different manner. That is a system seller. That's going to sell consoles, oddly enough. And so doing that would make this a standout showcase. And that wraps up my predictions. That's all I got. That's what I'm predicting. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not tied to any of this emotionally. If any of this does or doesn't happen, I'm not going to feel any type of way. I might feel some type of way in the sense of like, think it's bad or I'll think it's good or whatever, but that's my investment in the show, so to speak. I definitely want to see some of this stuff happen, but we'll see. We'll see what Sunday brings. Sunday's going to be interesting, that's for sure. And with Summer Games Fest happening a few days before that, I feel like it's going to maybe knock a few of these things off the list or even make them more, I don't know, make it more possible that some of this is going to happen based on what we see in the Summer Games Fest. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Summer Games Fest is taking place on Friday at 6 p.m., if I'm not mistaken. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Speaking of, that's a good transition into honorable mentions, actually. Close out the show with this, and then it's been an hour and 30 minutes. My God. Every time I think I'm going to talk less and less on the episodes, and it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. I have no idea how I can sit here and talk to myself for an hour and a half. Right before I started thinking about doing this podcast, I was like, man, how am I going to sit there and talk to myself for so much time? That was a dumb idea, apparently. Anyways, well, that was a dumb thought to have, rather. So honorable mentions. I only got two. First one is Jeff Keighley says that Kingdom Hearts fans are getting their hopes up way too high about a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer being at Summer Games Fest. I thought that was kind of funny because either he's blatantly lying, which wouldn't be a good look because then he wouldn't be able to do something like this in the future. So I don't think he's lying because then people would be like, oh, I can no longer believe Jeff Keighley. Like Kingdom Hearts 4 was there. So that means in the future when he says something like this, people are just going to be like, oh, no, that game's going to be there. He's lying. So I actually do think that he's not lying and that it's not going to be at Summer Games Fest. And that's something that I'll be keeping a buck. I think that people are having their hopes way too high for that. Way too high. I don't even know where to expect a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, to be honest with you. Summer Games Fest isn't it, though. And that kind of gives me, just to go back to predictions on Xbox, I got to see some Japanese support, man. You know, you close Tango Studios. What are you doing about Japanese support? What are you doing about continuing to show your commitment to Japanese gaming after you just closed a Japanese studio that made your most successful game of 2023? Got to see something come out of Xbox around that stuff too. Or that's a bad luck, in my opinion. And last honorable mention is Metal Gear Solid Delta, the remake of 3, is rumored to be pushed back to 2025. I was surprised that was going to be a 2024 game to begin with, to be honest with you. But I'm not necessarily in a rush. I haven't played 2. I've only played Metal Gear Solid 1. So this gives me even more time to play 2 and even play 3 as just play the original, see how it is. Can't play 4 anywhere, apparently. That's right. You would have to emulate 4 to play it. And I have 5 on my shelf, actually. So we'll see what happens when it comes to Metal Gear Solid. But rumored to be pushed to 2025. That's unfortunate for anybody looking forward to that. And y'all, that's episode 6 of We Talking About Games. Covered a lot of PlayStation stuff. Been a lot of PlayStation stuff to talk about over the past week. And talked about that Xbox showcase. Really, really looking forward to it, man. Really looking forward to it. It's the most wonderful time of the year. For gamers, at least. This is Gaming Christmas coming up. It's not E3 season because there's no more E3. Damn. R.I.P. to E3, man. Can't believe that happened. Jeff Keighley don't give a damn about that. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, y'all. That's the episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, like I said at the top, please subscribe. Leave a comment leave a comment. Let me know what you think of any of the topics. If you have some predictions for the Xbox showcase, what you thought of the PlayStation State of Play and any of the other news coming out of PlayStation. And on that note, I'm gonna see y'all. I don't know. See y'all on stream. You know, again, like I said in the beginning too, if you don't follow me on Twitch, go follow me at Chancleta Mangu. Follow me on socials, Twitter and Instagram mostly. I'm not really on anything else. I gotta get my TikTok popping again, but I say again, has never really been popping. Let's just get the TikTok popping to begin with. But follow me at Chancleta Mangu on all of them, just so you can stay up to date on clips, on when I'm streaming and when episodes launch and things of that nature. If you're not subscribed and stuff, and just to chop it up with me about games. I'm always talking about games on Twitter. I will never call it X, by the way. It's always going to be Twitter. Talk with me about games on Twitter. Maybe I post a lot on my Instagram stories. Not so much post. I post a lot on my Instagram stories. People always message me. Always gets conversations with folks about what stems from there. So shoot a follow. And yeah, on that note, I'm gonna leave y'all. So hope y'all have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, weekday, weekend, whenever and wherever you might be listening to this. And on that note, deuces.